All right, help me understand what the Rams did and are doing. Aaron Donald's contract, Cooper Kupp's contract, Jalen Ramsey got paid. Everybody has gotten paid. Matthew Stafford's gotten paid. Why aren't other teams following the same blueprint that the Rams are putting down?
We joked on Monday that Les Snead's F them picks T-shirt says on the back, F that cap, because that's what they're doing now. They're paying their best players. And you can do it if you're willing to do this, Dan. The great Patriots teams had starters and stars who took less so that they could have backups that they would pay more to, that they had a healthy middle class of backup talent. So when someone got injured, you plug in a guy who maybe would be a starter somewhere else and you don't miss a beat. The Rams consciously take the risk that if one of their starters is injured, whether it's a star or just a run-of-the-mill starting player, they're going to have young guys. They're going to have guys on rookie deals, guys making minimum salary that have to step in and step up. That's the risk they're taking. And so far it hasn't burned them. But when you get yourself top-heavy with so many star players taking up so much of the cap, you have to rely upon young, inexperienced players who are cheap and who can come in and get it done. You got to coach them up. You got to get them ready. And that's where the Rams, I think, are making their move, having great young players that weren't supposedly great, who can come in and play when they need them. And they've managed to keep their guys healthy, so they haven't had to rely on a lot of these young players to perform.
How sustainable is this?
Until guys start getting injured and guys miss games and key players aren't available, or you get to a point where you're paying Aaron Donald $65 million over the next 2 years. Let's say he starts to show wear and tear this year or next year, and you're stuck. He's getting $65 million fully guaranteed. So that's where it falls apart. If your star players, the guys you're playing the most money to, aren't getting it done. And one thing to watch if you're a Rams fan, Dan, that elbow issue with Matthew Stafford, he hasn't thrown this offseason. He had an anti-inflammatory shot in his elbow. His elbow is a fairly important piece of the apparatus that allows him to throw the football. They're hopeful he can throw by training camp, but even if he can, does it hold up through the grind of training camp and preseason? Not that he'll play much, 17-game regular season, playoffs, and what's going on in that elbow? And John Wolford is the backup because you can't afford to have a $10 million a year backup when you're relying upon this top-heavy roster of superstars. So if Stafford, for some reason, can't go this year at some point, they got to rely on Wolford, that's maybe when it all starts to fall apart.